Good morning. Good morning. Welcome or welcome back to Bookeemonsters. My name is PK. It is Wednesday, June the 5th. Hope you're having a good day. I apologize if things get a little wonky here. I seem to be having some technical difficulties with my tablet. I've done some stuff here in the background, and I don't know if it's helping or not. So I apologize in advance. Quick announcements. It is Wednesday, so I do not have any sprints tonight, but I do have them tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern, and they will go for 2.5 hours. And after that, they'll be on Saturday afternoon at 1 p.m. Mountain Time, 3 p.m. Eastern. And we are here to look at romances that are being released this week. Every day of the week, we look at a different genre. On Mondays, we look at cozy mysteries. On Tuesdays, we look at mysteries and thrillers. Wednesdays, like today, we look at romance. Thursdays, tomorrow, we look at fantasy and science fiction. And this week on Friday, we'll be looking at more historical mysteries for the Midsummer Hiss Mist Readathon that we're doing. All righty, let me get rid of the banner. One thing I did notice, there is not any like big dress traditional romances really available. There might be one, but other than that, it is very rom-comish this week. Good morning, Mary. Happy Wednesday. Your video description says May. Oops. So I was having some trouble finding you. Thank you. May. Oh dear. We are not going backwards. I tell you that right now. We are not going backwards. Which is odd because today's my mom's birthday. I should have remembered. I should have put, June. Weird. I appreciate you letting me know, Mary. First up, Birding with Benefits. Sarah T. Dubb is the author. A divorcee embarks on her year of yes and crosses paths with a shy but sensitive birdwatcher who changes her life in this charming blah, blah, blah. Newly divorced, almost empty nester Celeste is finally seeking adventure and putting herself first. Clichés be damned. So when a friend asks Celeste to partner with his buddy John for an event, Celeste throws herself into the role of his temporary girlfriend. But quiet cinnamon roll John isn't looking for love, just birds. He needs a partner for Tucson's biggest bird watching contest if he's ever going to launch his own guiding business. By the time they untangle their cross signals, they've become teammates, and thanks to his meddling friends, a fake couple. Celeste can't tell a sparrow from a swallow, but John is a great teacher, and the hours they spend hiking in the Arizona wilderness feed Celeste's hunger for new adventures while giving John a chance to practice his dream job. As the two spend more time together, they end up watching more than just the birds, and their chemistry becomes undeniable. Since they're both committed to the single life, Celeste suggests a status upgrade, birders with benefits, just until the contest is done. But as the bird count goes up and their time together ticks down, John and Celeste will have to decide if their benefits can last a lifetime or if this love affair is for the birds. They had to. It was just hanging there. Match Me If You Can by Swati Hegde. A young magazine writer, Mumbai must prove her matchmaking skills and contend with growing feelings for her close family friend. This is a debut romance. Confident fashionista Jia Deshpande spends her days writing cliche-ridden listicles for Mimosa, Mumbai's top women's magazine. When she can, Jia dishes about the messy truth of real love on her anonymous blog, attends her family's weekly game nights, and ignores her true feelings for her childhood friend. If that wasn't enough, Jia needs to successfully set up a coworker with her perfect match to get the green light for her new matchmaking column. Thankfully, organizing meet-cutes has never been difficult for her. Local pub owner and cocktail genius Jamin Patil can't help but be enamored with Gia and her meddling spirit. He's always been an honorary part of her family, but even more so since his own move to America. Life with the Deshpandes is chaotic and loud, but it's also more loving than anything he experienced growing up, and he wouldn't risk losing that for the world. It feels manageable until his pub begins to struggle and his long hidden feelings for Gia grow deeper. When Gia's attempts at office matchmaking go haywire, risking new friendships and her relationship with Jamin, she must reevaluate her own thoughts on love. For the first time, Gia Deshpande realizes that love may be a lot more complicated than she thought. Luckily, happily ever afters are never in short supply in Mumbai. That does sound cute. Here's our only potentially traditional big dress romance, although it's not really a big dress, with the gown flowing over half the cover. The Duke Has Done It Again by Jane Ashford, sixth in the Duke Estates series. How can they stay rivals when they're falling in love? As children of the two most prominent families in town, Gavin Keeley and Rose Denholm have been enemies their whole lives. When the Duke and Duchess of Terford come to town to get their estate in order, they invite Gavin, Rose, and their families for a visit to settle the feud once and for all. But as jealousy takes root, the entire town begins to compete for the attention of the Duke and Duchess, forcing Gavin and Rose to choose between fighting for their family interests or fighting for the love that's blossoming between them. And he's having a shirt problem. They always have shirt problems. They must not have made shirts very well back then. Pardon my Frenchie. By Farah Roshan. Ashanti Wright is thrilled over the success of her doggy daycare, Barkingham Palace, but handling the business and taking care of her teen twin sisters is a lot. And now that the antics of her adorable French bulldog and poodle bestie are blowing up on social media, things are even more chaotic than usual, and they only get worse when the world's worst dog hater shows up. Thad Sims is not a dog person. He's barely a person's person. But after his grandmother is transferred to a senior living facility that doesn't accept pets, the former army officer agrees to care for her annoying standard poodle, and his first move is taking Puddin out of daycare. Now Ashanti's beloved Duchess is bereft of her companion. Social media is outraged, and Ashanti's business is hanging in the balance. Her only option is to make nice with the surly, sexy Thad at all costs. Well, she could offer to adopt the dog that he doesn't want. But it's going to take a tiara-wearing Frenchie, a well-dressed poodle, and a whole lot of treats to teach these humans a few new tricks about falling in love. Barely Even Friends by May Bennett. Looks like a button problem to me. They just didn't make the buttons very well back then. Good morning, Elena. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good morning. Bellamy Price has just been offered the job of a lifetime, lead contractor on the restoration of the mysterious and sprawling Killington estate. If she meets the owner's ridiculous timeline, she'll finally make a name for herself in this male-dominated industry. But when she rolls up her sleeves, slips on her suspenders, and shows up at the crumbling mansion, Bellamy finds the estate very much occupied. After a traumatic car accident that left his parents dead and himself injured, Oliver Killington, heir to the Killington Empire, took up residence as the grumpy caretaker of his grandfather's mansion. None too pleased by the presence of the hammer-wielding woman who's moved into his house, Oliver tries to block her at every turn. But when Bellamy discovers Oliver's facing his own ultimatum from his grandfather, the two form a cautious truce. which leads to flying sparks that are definitely not from the faulty wiring. As Bellamy restores the gleam to the Killington estate, she'll have to decide if the walls she's built around herself are worth knocking down to make space for someone else. A whole lot of cuteness this morning. Cuteness overload. You are great. Good. Just finished with my bronze medal and now onto my silver medal. Okay. Beneath a Crescent Shadow, The Balkan Legends by A.L. Swords. After an arranged marriage, Constantine and Susanna must find a way to meet the demands of a conquering Ottoman sultan amid a torrent of setbacks and dangers, much closer to their Balkan home. Well, that sounds more traditional, but they've got the cover isn't romantic, it's historical. The Balkans, 1373. A devastating battle claimed the lives of Constantine's father, uncle, and most of their Serb army, leaving him to rule as a vassal of the Ottoman Sultan, a role he is wholly unprepared for. Between war, famine, and a persistent band of brigands, Constantine is nearly bankrupt. He will need to find a wealthy bride to marry if he's to have any hope of saving his lands and securing his future. A betrothal to Susanna, the daughter of a prosperous merchant, is soon arranged, and upon meeting her, Constantine immediately feels hope that their marriage could someday grow into love. Yet, from the moment of Constantine and Susanna's betrothal, enemies threaten their lives, outlaws prey on their lands, and the terrors of Susanna's abusive past haunt their fragile new relationship. As this onslaught of threats closes in, the two face challenges that will test their love, their faith, and their hope to save their people and win their freedom from the heavy weight of the Ottoman oppression. I have the door open and a B-52 just tried to bomb me. Go away. Go away. Ooh, it's a bee. Go outside, bee. Catch a Cowboy by Rochelle Page Campbell. A Match Made in Montana part of series. Kincaid Ranch's lead cowboy, Ted Sterling, isn't looking for romance or entanglements. He settled in Hurd, Montana over a decade ago after a devastating loss. He's seeking comfort and friendship, nothing more. If he was going to try love again, he would pick someone sweet and sunny, exactly like kindergarten teacher Stephanie Patricks, but she's too young for him. Stephanie has nursed a crush on quiet, handsome Ted for years. Unfortunately, every time she's around him, she gets tongue-tied. She only seems to be able to find her words when she's working with her students. When Ted's sister unexpectedly arrives in town with his 5-year-old niece in tow, he needs help, and Stephanie is just the woman to provide it. The sudden emergency puts into sharp focus exactly how fragile life is, and Ted needs to decide whether to open his heart again or let love slip away forever. Go away, bee. Oh, now Kia's going after it. Don't try to get the spicy fly. Cole and Layla Are Just Friends, a love story by Bethany Turner. Cole and Layla have been inseparable since they could crawl, and they've never thought about each other that way, except for when they have. Rarely. Once in a while, sure, but seriously, hardly ever. Cole Kimball and Layla Olivet have been best friends their entire lives. Cole is the only person, apart from blood relatives, who's seen Layla in her oversized pink plastic Sophia Loren glasses. Leia is always the first person to taste test any new dish Cole creates in his family's restaurant, even though she has the refined palate of a kindergartner. Most importantly, Cole and Layla are always talking about everything. When Cole discovers a betrayal from his recently deceased grandfather that shatters his world, staying in Adelaide Springs, Colorado is suddenly unfathomable. But Layla loves her life in the small mountain town and can't imagine ever living anywhere else. She loves serving customers who tip her with a dozen fresh eggs. She loves living within walking distance of her favorite people. And she's very much not okay with the idea of not being able to walk to her very favorite person. Still, when Cole toys with moving across the country to New York City, she decides to support her best friend, even as she secretly hopes she can convince him to stay home, and not just for his killer chocolate chip pancakes, because she loves him as a friend. Just a friend, right? They make a deal. Layla won't beg him to stay, and Cole won't try to convince her to come with him. They have 1 week in New York before their lives change forever, and all they have to do is enjoy their time together and pretend none of this is happening. But it's tough to ignore the very inconvenient feelings blooming out of nowhere in both of them. And these potentially friendship destroying feelings, once out in the open, have absolutely no takebacks. Oh, jeez. The comparatives are pulling out the big guns. If When Harry Met Sally had a quippy literary love child with Gilmore Girls, Luke and Lorelai, you'll get these two. Ugh. Just write a book. Crossroads by Devney Perry. And I did double check, this is a new one. This isn't a re-release. She's a name that's becoming bigger in the younger set. Sorry, coffee was required. A sweeping small town romance about love lost and a Montana legacy. I met West Haven when I was 8 years old. He taught me to play poker when I was 9, and we made paper airplanes together when I was 11. He kissed me when I was 16. He was the best part about my family's summer vacations to Montana. Stay away from Montana. He was the boy who stole my heart. I was 23 when life ripped us apart. Years later, I'm breaking my vow and returning to the ranch not as a guest, but its new owner. West might want me gone, but even he has to admit the only way to save his family's legacy is with my help. It's not easy working side by side and facing those old memories, but this situation is only temporary. We're at a crossroads, and as long as I don't let myself fall in love with West Haven again, maybe this is our chance to put those ghosts to rest. Maybe this time we'll finally be able to say goodbye. Doubt it. I doubt it. Extra protein. Frenemies to Lovers by Cynthia. Yeah, there's an extra I in there. Cynthia Williams, related to Peachtree Cove. The trouble with bad boys is that they're so unforgettable. Andre Kemp, just hearing the name makes Tamara Bradford want to roll her eyes. Popular, gorgeous, and arrogant, and every girl in high school wanted to date him. And while Tamara can't deny how attractive he was then and is now, she has no time for schoolgirl crushes. Charged with revitalizing downtown Peachtree Cove, Tamara has a full plate, and that includes managing a contractor to lead the town's efforts. So when Andre walks in the door for the project meeting, she can't control her surprise. When Andre left Peachtree Cove, he swore he'd never move back. Too many bad memories. But when his mom needed his help, there was nowhere else he'd rather be. Still, seeing Tamara again blows his mind. She may have been a goody two-shoes back in school, but he never could forget those luminous brown eyes and kissable lips. Getting involved with her isn't smart, for so many reasons, but he can't seem to get her off his mind. And the more time they spend working together, the harder it is to let her go. Have you noticed in these books, contrary to what current culture is, these people all have jobs and careers or striving towards something like that. Isabel and the Rogue. This is part second in the Luna Sisters by Liana de la Rosa. When a Mexican heiress defies Victorian society to protect her country, a British war hero makes it his new mission to protect her. Isabel Luna Valdez has long since resigned herself to being the forgotten Luna sister, but thanks to familial connections to the Mexican ambassador in London, Wallflower Isabel is poised to unearth any British intelligence hidden by the Ton that might aid Mexico during the French occupation. Though she slips easily from crowded ballrooms into libraries and private studies, Isabel's search is hampered by trysting couples and prowling rogues, including the rakish Captain Sirius Dawson. As a covert agent for the British Home Office, Sirius makes a game of earning the aristocracy's confidence. He spends his days befriending foolish politicians and seducing well-born ladies in order to learn their secrets. But after he spies a certain sharp-tongued Luna sister lurking in the shadows where no proper debutante should venture, it's clear Sirius is outmatched, outwitted, and soon to be outmaneuvered by the one woman he can't resist. Their mutual attraction is undeniable, but when Isabel discovers private correspondence that could turn the tide of political turmoil in Mexico, she's willing to do whatever it takes to protect her country, even if this means ignoring her heart and courting danger. All right, that is all we have time for, so we're going to do a quick look at covers and authors. Just Some Stupid Love Story by Caitlin Doyle. Meet Me in Tahiti by Georgia Toffolo. This one was interesting because she is in a wheelchair. Triple Sec by T.J. Alexander. Oops, we have duplicates here. And A Timeless Masquerade by Audra Hershey. That's in there multiple times. How did that happen? And they're not deleting. How weird. Alrighty, we got to most of them. As mentioned, tomorrow we will be looking at fantasy and science fiction. Tonight I do not have any sprints. They'll be tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Mountain Time, 8 p.m. Eastern. Boy, that was quick today. Probably won't see you until... That's right. Travel safely. And you got to tell me all about Sedona. Leave today, later, and not back for a while. Hope all goes well for you, and thanks so much. Oh, Mary, travel safely. Have a good visit. It will be lovely. All right. Well, guys, hope you have a good day. Hope you're reading good books. And as the banner says here, don't be a bookworm, be a bookie monster. Nom nom nom. Have a good day and God bless.